Hey everybody, it's Eddie here from DilleenProperty, and today I want to do a really quick video talking about granny flats. Should you purchase a property and whack a granny flat on the back of it? My thoughts on it. I'm not saying I'm right, not saying I'm wrong. This is just from my experience with building my own property portfolio. I've never done a granny flat build, and I don't think I will from that sense. I might eventually, depending on, it really comes down to, the stage of your property investing, what your goals are, what you want to achieve and all that kind of stuff, basically, as always. But I've got the whiteboard here, and here's why I wouldn't purchase a granny flat if I was starting all over again. So right now, it's 2018, I've got 14 investment properties in my own portfolio. Let's just say I was starting all over again from scratch, right? And I've got $100,000 in savings, and I've already got, I've been pre-approved, or I've got a finance, my finance is right. So let's just say I've got $100,000 in savings. So $100,000 in savings. And I've already got a property. I bought a property for, say, $500,000. Hope you guys are writing is better than mine. So bought a property for 500K, and it's going to cost, with council approval, the granny flat and all that kind of stuff, miscellaneous expenses, is going to cost around $100,000. So that's my house, and then here's my little granny flat. We'll just give it a weird roof and a nice door, and that's going to cost much better. That's going to cost 100K. So we've got my house. Granny flat's going to cost $100,000 to build, and I'm going to have a total asset worth $600,000. Might be worth a little bit more depending on what bank you get it valued with and all that kind of stuff. But that granny flat, say it rents out for $350 a week per week. Say you've rented your house out for $400 a week, and you've got a total rental income rent total, which is $750 per week. So $750 per week in rent, right? And we've got a property that's worth around, say, $650,000 roughly. So in terms of yield, $750, and the property's worth, with the granny flat on it, say $650,000. What's that? About a 5.5–6.5% yield roughly. It's okay, average overall. That on its own, amazing return, $350 per week, and only 100K spend. That's all right. That's good. Making money, no worries. I wouldn't do that. This, with the same amount of money. So you got your property, you've already, you've got your property, you rent it out $400 a week, that's your one investment property, but you've got $100,000 in cash. If you can get finance, if you can get a loan across the line, I'd split the $100,000 up in two, and I'd go off and buy two different properties, right? I'd buy them below market value. So with that $100,000, I'd buy two properties. So here's another scenario. You buy two properties worth 200K each, right? And you did a 20% lend, so you used $50,000 to buy this one, you used 50K to buy that one, and 50K to buy that one. That includes your 20% deposits on both of them. So you did 20% deposits, which is $40,000 plus stamp duty, legal fees, pest and building inspections, all that kind of stuff. And let's say both of these rent out for $330 a week, which is an awesome return. That's what I aim for. $330 per week in rent. So that's, and you got a loan on it of $160K because you did an 80% lend. So you got $330 per week paying off the $160K loan, and that's right there is about percent rental yield roughly. So you've got 2 properties there. What you're essentially doing is you turn 100k and you've bought 400k worth of property that you're holding. 400k worth of property you're holding, as opposed to 400k plus this 500k. So altogether, with your 2 properties and that property, you're holding $900,000 worth of property, and you've got your eggs spread out from just one property with a granny flat on it to one property and maybe 2 townhouses worth $900,000 compared to worth $650,000. So what that's essentially doing, from my opinion, on top of that, there's a lot of different benefits to doing this. You could buy one in a totally different state. So this one could be in New South Wales, for example. New South Wales, your first property that you bought, and you bought this one in Queensland, in Brisbane, that one in the Gold Coast, or one in Queensland, one in South Australia or Tasmania or whatever. So you're diversifying in different markets. On top of that, these properties in the next, say for example, over the next 15 years, they double in value conservatively. So these ones went from 200 to 400k. So now they're worth 400k. So you've got times 2, 800k worth of property. And then this one's doubled as well. So you've got 1 million. So it's now worth 1 million 15 years later. So you've got $1.8 million, right? In this scenario, 1.8 million worth of assets. Whereas if you just stay with this scenario over here, you would have 1.2 million worth of 1.2 million. So you'd have an additional $600,000 of net worth from spreading your eggs out in different baskets. On top of that, you've got a higher overall rental return, because this one's renting out $400 a week and these are renting out $330 each. So then you've got $660 plus $400 initially, which is at $1,060, buying 2 properties with the same amount of capital. Whereas if you did it this way, you were only on $750 per week, but this way you've got $1,060 per week coming in initially as well. So you've got a better rental return. You're leveraging your money much better. And on top of that, if you were to buy these properties that were 200k, buy below market value or below comparable sales, and there are other ones in the market are selling for 230, 240, 250,000. What I've done before, you buy 2, you get them revalued in 6 months to 12 months. Say you put that money into them, you could probably pull 100k of equity back out and then go buy 2 more properties. That's the dodgy house. Go buy 2 more properties, right? For 200 or 250,000. Renting out for $330 a week. And then you got 1, 2, 3, 4. You got 5 properties instead of 1 house with a stupid granny flat on the back. So, and then if all those properties is a compound effect year on year. So if you could do that, you could do this scenario a few times. You could get 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You could have 12 properties because you used your money a lot better. You leveraged your money, 100 grand, rather than sinking 100 grand fully into a granny flat to get a better rental return with a granny flat compared to that. So yeah, that's just my thoughts. I know it's very messy, and I'm trying to pass on my mindset and my knowledge and what's worked best for me. Like if I've got houses that I bought years ago, I could have put granny flats on them, but for spending $70,000 or $100,000, I'm sure you can get granny flat done a lot cheaper, but just say for example, spending that time, that effort, going through council approval, doing all, putting a granny flat on the back, when I just went out and bought, another 1 or 2 properties with the exact same amount of cash, and those properties have gone up and the rent's gone up over time, and you've diversified in different markets. So there's lots of different, I guess for me it's more about building an asset base of how many properties can you hold over 5, 10, 15, 20 years, 30 years as a compound effect. So if you've got $5 million worth of property today and you hold that for 20 years and it goes from 5 million to 10 million to 20 million, could be more, could be less, etc., but it's inflationary over time. So I'm not a big fan of buying granny flats and spending large amount of money doing a granny flat when you could leverage your money that you're going to put in that and buy 1 or 2, maybe 3 properties with the same amount of cash. So yeah, I hope this video has helped. I hope you could understand a little bit of the scribble on the board that writing's not too good, but yeah, thanks for watching guys, and I'll catch you next video. Bye.